He takes high in the breeze. Need some distant stranger to find love for me. Baby, I'm waiting, baby, it's hard. Tell me where we go. Whenever you're free, whenever you are, let me hear you go. Baby, I'm waiting, baby, it's hard. Let me hear you go. Tell me where we go. Let me hear you go.
Sometimes I feel like throw my hands up in the air. I know I can count on you. Sometimes I feel like saying, Lord, I just don't care. But you got the love I need to see me through. Sometimes it seems the going is just too rough, and things go wrong no matter what I do. Now and then it seems like life is just too much, but you got the love I need to see me through. When food is gone, you are my daily need. Oh, when friends are gone, I know my Savior, the love is real. You know it's real. 'Cause you got the love, 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 you got the love.
All right. What's up, guys? Let's do it. If you enjoyed the intro music, you probably enjoy the video even better. We got Cream here. They got these cool videos, man. Really, really sick stuff. So check these out. Liquid Labs. Look them up. They're pretty dope. But all right, let's get into it. We got a lot to look at today. First and foremost, welcome in everyone. I know we're plugging in from different parts of the world. I couldn't, for whatever reason, I couldn't get my my video here to load. So I guess that'll be for tomorrow. But welcome in everyone. Fresh new week. We are in the second half of the year. Buenas, buenas. What's good? What's up, Sen, Lindsay, Seth, Omar, Corey, Karen, Luis, Edgar, Ma. Good stuff, guys. Edgar, your stuff is coming in for the Tradetopia. I know you set your order in. What's up, Puccini? What's up, Greg? Morning. Amy, Gabriel. Looks like we got a battle for the crown here in the chat. One Vision. What's up, fam? Carlos, Joe Ryan, vibin'. Giovanni Ramirez, welcome. What's up, Patrick? Salvador Gutierrez in the cells, aiming for trim line liquidity. Trim line NAS cells. Cool. Very cool. Buenos dias, Jose Rizzo, PG, at a 2.5R going for a 4R stop loss and profit at 2R. Well done. What's up, Omar? Brandon, John P. desde Colombia. Maria, ¿qué tal? Michael Nunez. Hola, bro. What's good? So let me know what country you're plugging in from here. I see we got Puerto Rico in here. Buenos dias, Dennis. Here we are one. That's nice. Desde Russia. What's up, David Lopez? That's wild. All right, so let's dive into it. Got a bit going on today. We'll kick things off with the majors, and then we'll go from there. So, all right. So let's talk about a couple things here. We're gonna kick things off with the weekly, where we're at in the market with indices, with Dow Jones, Nasdaq, S&P. And before I do that, I do want to just give you guys a quality reminder here that, one, grateful for y'all. Appreciate you guys here. These sessions are free. We're here Monday through Friday. And so I want to make sure you guys are just dialed in here. You guys get the most value. Usually we're live for 90 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. We'll work on the high-impact news events. For those of you that maybe are here for the first time, let us know. Drop a 1 in the chat. And then we also have our community totally free. Tons of resources, courses in there, totally for free. And then for those of you wanting that hands-on work, we also do have a 1-year program. But more than anything, I want to make sure you guys are in the right path. So if you're newer to trading, there is those intro courses, and make sure you get everything on the right foot in our community. And if you're not in the community, definitely make sure you get in there. I'll go ahead and drop the invitation link here for you guys. So let me just drop that right here. Welcome to the community. Link here. All right, what's up, Sweden? All right. Now, we have, to kick the week off, Monday through Friday, you're going to get the New York Open, so you're going to see the stock market open. We're going to see volatility with indices and all that good stuff. So that's the usual. No holidays, no impact news events. There is going to be this week more volatility regarding the tariffs. So that's going to bring forth movement, volume that isn't necessarily on the calendar. So just be ready for that. At any moment, that can happen. It looks like if we dive into a bit of the volatility already on the week, we are getting to efficient levels again now. But looking at this week, we're starting to see a bit of volume before the week even before New York opens, right? Before everything is bumping over here. So right now, as we're in like the pre-market open, the market worked its way up to these highs, rebalanced here, played out of this order block. So we did see the market pump like crazy Thursday, right? The day before New York session. NFP kind of was the excuse to move the market so much, pumping up to here. We saw NASDAQ, etc. So right now we're getting New York open. During London, we do see London session make this high over to here, play out of this right there. So what we're looking at is there we go, Nike crossing up into our zone. So for those of you that did buy Nike with me around in the 50s, this is my exit. This is a short-term exit. So I'm gonna just take some money off the table, and then I'm gonna reinvest when we get dips on Nike. So that's just my play right now. But you guys can obviously go about this in whichever way you want. But anyways, going into indices here, you see this is where the week opens. So we always want to have a good, we want to see clarity here. So here you can write that out. Here is where we get, well, more than anything, you can actually put it right there. But this is the open of the week. Usually, if we're in a bullish market and you can get your buys in below this point, you are in a better position. You're probably getting better entries than most other buyers in the market. So not that you can't trade above this, but it just lets you know, especially if you're doing a swing trade, whether you're trading your own money with futures or CFDs. I know prop firms with futures, you're not really holding to the next day, but this is just a key area. Also, if you get into sells and it makes sense logically within the day, then you can actually sell into these areas. But what we're seeing now is just about an hour and a half ago, we saw the market actually take out some of the highs it was making during London session. So we see a nice little move up here, see the market rise, and then you see the drop. So at the moment, we are seeing a shift in structure on the 1 minute. And we see this as the Asian session low, and then you get the London session low over here. So here is basically the low of the current trading day, which just about matches the open of the week as well. So there's definitely retail buyers setting up in this range. Mike, which altcoins do you have in mind? We can talk about that in a bit. To our secured. Well done. So this is what we're looking at right now with Dow, right? I think overall very efficient. Really not much else up here to target. And now we can take a look at NQ. NASDAQ to me looks a bit like a better sell, actually. And because we're seeing more bearish momentum. So let's talk about how we open. We saw the market open here for NASDAQ, dip down, and then it actually already rebalanced. Look at this. We already played back into where Friday the market closes and opens. So it's actually pretty efficient here with NASDAQ. We're not really seeing much else that needs to be done here. So what is building up over here is liquidity. You get this trend line, very predictable buying zones for NASDAQ over here. And at the moment, you see the market make a high over here during Asian session. This pops up into this zone. So the market is moving, again, relatively efficient. And then you see the market sweep these highs. So it takes out quite a bit of London and Asian session sellers. So coming right into this zone. You see a bit of volume kick in right there. So clearing out some sellers. It does look like we have a high right around here in the past as well. So this could be of concern because you are getting equal highs right here. So you know that since there already was resistance here, you could see some selling happening here. Now, again, we can zoom out a little bit just to make sure we're getting enough just clarity here. Okay. So right now, if you're looking at this overall higher time frames, you're seeing higher high, higher low, higher high. So we're in a bullish structure. The market slowly worked its way down here. So this wasn't necessarily there was demand at these prices Thursday going into Friday. And then right now we're kind of squeezing on both ends. So sellers, buyers. So we're kind of seeing a little bit of both. Again, we are overall bullish. So this would be against the trend, looking for an opportunity here. And as we just saw, the market gets to these highs, creates equal highs, just about resistance there. So if I were to want to sell here, this equal highs, this does drop the quality of this setup. If that wasn't the case, this would look solid, but that is the case. So right now, I'm going to be mindful. Maybe it ends up being Dow Jones that gives us a good selling opportunity. So we can take a look at that here in a bit. So we'll just see how the market works its way back up. Okay. Yeah, we'll look at some Australian pattern. We'll look at some Asian session. Since we have high impact news tonight and for 2 days back to back, 2 Asian sessions, we'll definitely have our eyes on Australian futures, New Zealand futures, and we'll look at some cross pairs for on the CFD side as well. So let's see what the market can have in store for us here. We're definitely seeing the drop here in structure on Dow. Same thing with NASDAQ. What I want to just see is how we work our way back up to this zone. Is it going to be, if NASDAQ, for example, starts moving up into this range faster, and maybe it clears these highs, and that sets up Dow Jones, then I'd be open to selling Dow. So we'll kind of have a look here. Y chicos, para los que están aquí, hablo español, me dejan saber aquí en el chat. My NQ chart is different. Hold on. Market is delayed. Wait, why is my market delayed data? What? Hold on. I just noticed that my stuff is delayed here. But why? Hold on, guys. I just noticed my stuff is delayed. That's not good. All right, give me a second. I didn't even see that. Huh. Billing. Subscriptions. Real-time data. Okay, weird. All right, 1 second, guys. Let me make sure this thing is on because I need that. That's funny. Where is this thing? All right, just let me buy this thing. User settings, subscriptions, change plan. I mean, that makes sense. It makes sense on why it was such a lag. let's see here. Sorry, guys. Appreciate you guys for being patient. I didn't even notice that. The silly thing is that now it's just making it, it's taking its time so I can buy this thing. U.S. stock market bundle. What do I need here? I just need the futures one. Next. Why do you need all the new? Okay. Lost the screen. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to see anything. I'm buying, like, I'm just upgrading this. I don't know. Why would it not go? It's weird. Whatever. All right, here, while this is loading at a turtle's pace. Oh my God. Here we go. Start charting. Thank you. How nice of you. Okay, here we go. So, now I can share my screen. All right, welcome back. All right, so now that this makes more sense, we have updated data. Yay. So we saw basically, Dow trade down here. It's still trading down here. Meanwhile, we're seeing NASDAQ spike below and then back up into this zone again. So we're kind of seeing it go back and forth. We saw this trend line liquidity get taken out at the moment, playing down into this level. So, okay, we can delete that. From here, it looks like we already kind of saw the mitigation of NASDAQ into this area. It drops down very aggressively, comes back up again. I still think we could work our way up to here. So let's see if that's going to be the case. Let me know if you guys can see my screen now. I want to make sure we're live, ready to roll. What up, what up? Yes. Y'all got me, right? All right, cool. So from here, we good. Did anyone take any positions so far? I'm looking at this and, we see Dow drop back around London session lows, just a notch above the low here. I still think we could probably clear this liquidity getting into the open of the week over here. But so I wouldn't necessarily want to buy this yet. We do sweep below some support that was being made here. So I totally get that. And the other concept that I can see some people want to trade here is the fact that we had a strong push to the downside, getting into this little imbalance here, and then maybe wanting to take a buy on this position. I could kind of see why you'd want to do that with the sweep of liquidity and then playing in here. I kind of get it, but the fact is, I think there's still quite a bit more retail money over here. Like, basically anyone that bought from the open of the week is currently in profit. So to me, there's just easy liquidity building up all in this range. It's like everyone in here is just an easy buyer. So I'd rather kind of wait this out, and I actually like the idea for a short here. So if we see Dow come into this zone, and let's say NASDAQ maybe clears these highs, then I think we could see a decent setup. Otherwise, I'm going to keep waiting for more liquidity sweep here. Now, I do want to give you guys some big picture, like higher, like macro perspective. Not even macro, actually, that's pushing it. But, just kind of something into the week. At some point, I do think we drop back down to these levels. This was Wednesday's low right here. So this is one that I do feel like we can work our way down to at some point. This is a pending mitigation. So the market could play out of this low, and then we can get a nice little move to the upside. So, and this is there's still tons of liquidity all in this range. So I'm gonna be patient for this at some point. If we can sell down into this area, whether it's selling Dow, whether it's selling NQ, then I'm definitely with it. Same thing, we can zoom out a little bit more here, and if we look at kind of what we saw last week, we still have a significant amount of movement that can happen, because if you look at Tuesdays like New York Open, this also sold off, and then we had an insane imbalance. We have another order block right here too that we can still reject. So we have quite a bit of liquidity from last week that the market can easily clear out, and we can go work on that at some point in time. So for now, we'll kind of have both of these here lined up for the week. These may end up being the lows of the week. We'll see how we get to this point later on. All right. So I am going to drop this. Here's just a 15-minute chart across the board with Dow Jones and NASDAQ. And I'll go ahead and put that right here. So here's going to be the trades for today. So we have July 7th today. So indices on the 15-minute. You have that right there. And this is YM and NQ. And then also what we can do here is what's the shortcut for this? Copy image. Is it shift? Yeah. All right, cool. So I'm gonna be adding to this. And then you can go ahead and take a look at that. So just click on the Tradetopia trades right there, and you'll always see these in this section. All right, cool. So right now, if you guys, we can zoom in again, right? Like, let's get a little bit closer to current price action. And I know some of you, how many of you are trade S&P? Out of curiosity, how many of you guys are checking that out? I'm sure some of you are. So right now, it looks like Dow's kind of going back and forth with this. You see the sweep of the low. Market could go higher. NQ also takes out the low, trading into the below London lows, and now it's holding decently. So maybe this wants to push higher. I'm not in love with price action here with NASDAQ, but so I'd rather just stay out. But this is looking like it could work its way to clear these highs and then maybe set up the sells here on Dow. Now S&P, which we haven't looked at quite yet, S&P here, a couple different things that you want to pay attention to. So S&P as well has built up quite a bit of liquidity here. You can see it's building up quite the retail buyer trend line right there. Very nice. So at some point, I think we crack below this low. And then we started the market gapped up, opened here, and then has slowly but surely worked its way into rebalancing this. Hasn't filled the gap, but it did play out a structure. So cool. These buys here that are building up, at some point I do think they're going to get liquidated, so we'll see a drop. And then for a sell, I don't necessarily I'm not in a sell yet on anything. I could understand some people, maybe if you're just independently looking at S&P, then maybe you took a short on this right around here. I wouldn't take this yet. To me, it looks like Dow Jones is a much better sell. It's lagging behind significantly. So I would much rather have a short there. So waiting on that, and then we got this bad boy right here. Okay. So in the meantime, while we wait on all that, what we're going to do is let's go take a look at some majors over here. Assuming they'll load. So meanwhile, you have NQ. Okay, NQ trading back up here. Cool. All right. Where is... All right, this needs to reload. Here we go. Okay. Now we can take a look at what these look like here. So with Australian, we've seen quite like a significant amount of bearish movement. If those of you that traded the buys here last week, I believe it was Thursday, so for the day before 4th of July, we were trading XXX USD pairs. So whether you were take your positions on the Australian and you trade it into the highs, or you traded GBP USD with me, which is what we did here. And so the exit that we were looking for was taking out the liquidity here. So I took a buy here. The market worked its way higher, and then it dropped some momentum. I think there was some fear here. I held this through, and then the market ends up taking out these highs during London, going into London, and this is where I end up taking my profit. Once I see we don't confirm anything up here, then I no longer was looking for any more buys. But yeah, so we had pretty good trades on Thursday. This ends up giving us well over a 4R. How did you guys end up trading this day? So anyways, with all this being said, we can now take a look at a couple different things here. Now the question is, all right, are we in a market where we can look for buys? Are we in a market where we should be looking for sells? So what does that look like in general? And an easy way to get a good perspective on the market quickly is to take a look at the 4-hour. Before I do that, just going to check in here with indices. And Q still struggling to break through even higher. Okay. Here, looking at euro, we've already mitigated, so not looking at any other buys. To me, there's liquidity, retail buyers that can get taken out here. Maybe you get some sort of reversal here, but I'm not too focused on that. There's liquidity up here as well, so we're kind of all over the place here. Not too much to look at. If you look at the 15-minute with Euro USD, there's a couple key things here. There's liquidity here, worth noticing. And then there is a nice sweep to the upside here before everything drops. Normally, I would be interested in selling something in here. However, look at the highs. The market goes to the upside here just to make more liquidity. So what would this look like on a futures chart? This clears the highs, doesn't make equal highs, and then drops. So with futures, and considering that this is more, in my opinion, not even in my opinion, factually, this is more precise because CFDs get their data from futures. So looking for a short here could be decent. The reality is, though, that you have this happening constantly, right? You have this happening at different in different areas. So here, give me a sec. What we could see is if we go look at another chart. So let's go look at, for example, Australian. Australian has a similar move, comes to the upside and then drops. Here gaps up and then sells off. So could you see Australian have the same sort of shorting opportunity? The answer is yes, for sure. So here, and we can take these off. This already happened, so this is filled. You could be looking for a short in this range, right over here. Then we'd want to be mindful of, okay, well, which one's going to get here first or last? And what I mean by that is we have to look at how bullish the market's going to be working its way up to this area or down to this area. So if it works its way higher to here, and you can always use a fib tool just to kind of see, okay, how fast or how slow the market's moving. So here you have the market right around like a 38.2 pullback, getting close there with Australian. Then if we take a look at Euro, okay, Euro on futures, which is going to be more accurate, doesn't really make an equal high there. This is a little bit slower to the upside. Okay. You can take a look at GU, GBP USD right now. Looks like when they made the move to the downside here to take out this low, it was pretty quick. So quick move down and it's flying. This gives me a sign of low demand right here. So could this turn into a buy for GU at some point? That could be worth paying attention to. So I'm going to keep my eye out on how GU works its way higher. Look at Euro, look at AU, right? Australian, pretty similar. It drops down pretty aggressively. So you see a nice little sweep. Gets down to here, quickly worked its way up. So this may lead to something later. We'll see how this continues, right? But this could eventually turn into a buy. Just like GU is pushing up. And then you have NZD USD. So with GU, the sell here doesn't really make sense, even though the market pumps up and then drops. Doesn't make sense with GU because GU is already retracing so fast to this zone. So not really a lot to do there. NTD, on the other hand, look at how we're still way down here. So you get the same move, kind of like just like Euro, just like Australian. Get that same thing here. And then now we're just going to be mindful of how we work our way back up to the zone and if it makes sense to sell here. So as of right now, it looks like either NZD, AUD, or Euro can be a seller later on. But what about USD CAD? Does USD CAD have something similar? Not really. Nah, we don't really have the same position. What we do notice with USD CAD is that USD CAD, on the other hand, it flies up into this range. So we see it sweep liquidity all across the board here, but just for it to fall back down. So this high doesn't seem to be a higher high. This seems to liquidate sellers. So look at the behavior here. This seems to liquidate sellers, clears out retail sellers, and then works its way back down. So this could either make lower lows, or we may just see the market build up here and then short again. So USD CAD possibly going to build up into shorts later on here. So we'll stay on the lookout here with that. All right, so it looks like ESU, which is S&P over here. Whoa. Melting its way down. So NASDAQ dropping. S&P starting to break those lows. I wanted to see this fill this gap as well. So look at that. This is Dow right now. Or this is S&P clearing some lows, pushing Dow Jones even further down. We have NASDAQ here as well. NASDAQ working its way back down to these lows. In reality, it's just building up more liquidity. Okay. So this is interesting. So while that's doing that, I guess this is kind of building up a shakeout in a bit, in a way for Dow Jones. Like maybe it's going to want to hold and rally. I don't love this trade, so I'm not going to take it. I could see it, but I'm not really here to just, trade. Oh, like what I'm feeling, some intuitive nature to this. So, yeah, I'm not really. I'm cool. I'm cool with all this. It's fun. And look at that. This comes down and just gets eaten up. So NQ just eats that up. And then it looks like S&P just wanted to crack that low, break this low, take out buyers before it pulls up again. That's fine. This may end up pushing NASDAQ above these highs. So we'll get back to this because now we're just seeing tons of liquidity here. At some point, I'm sure we'll crack below this too. But okay, we can come back to that in a little bit. At some point, either we see kind of two options, whether we go lower or we just see this build up and then we can kind of short out of here and work our way wherever we really got to work our way to. But something like this is possible with USD CAD. And I'm going to send these charts over here at some point. Oh my God, this is crazy. USD CHF trading way differently than the rest of the market. Very minimum volatility. You look at USD CAD, huge movements down and up and down. USD CHF, mellow. USD JPY, very bullish. Very, very bullish. The dollar is just obliterating the yen continuously here. So zooming out over here, we're finally, you know, we're really working our way back up. This is a zone we've been waiting for some time. So at some point, I do think we'll get back up to here. For now, not looking to sell anything, not looking to trade anything until we get over here. There is this option, so we'll see if we get over here or not. But we do see the sweep to the downside here before the continuation with the dollar yen. So this might be something to look into. We get an Asian session low here, and this is, you know, dollar yen, so this is where we get more volatility, more action right around here. And then to, I guess, get a confirmation to just double check this, you can go and pull up the futures charts. The yen futures chart is going to be flipped. So since it's dollar yen, you're seeing, you know, the dollar is the leading currency. With yen futures, this chart's going to be basically flipped on its head. So you'll see it this way. There you go. So a little bit different. The market plays out of the imbalance structure combination. You guys have seen this. This is a pretty typical combo where you kind of get reversals in the market right there. So you see the market where you have structure and imbalance. It can work as a good reversal point. So whether you use this as I use this as exits, not entries, because a lot of times the market just wants to fill the rest of it and mitigate something. But in this case, you see it go down like this. There's a lot of consolidation, a lot of retail selling in here. And then this week, we see the market pump up and then drop. So I can definitely see the market want to come back over here. So this is, 6J. And then that would be working its way into the higher time frame zones that we're still waiting on, like this one. Here's where we also have the buy zone. Right around here. All right. So yeah, this is kind of, these are the key areas for me with the yen futures. So 6J. Let's go ahead and add this bad boy here. 6J. And then let's pull this up. That's definitely not what I wanted to do. All right. Perfect. Here we go. Save that. You guys have it there. And then I'll accept all the requests here in a second. All right, let me double check here where we're looking at with indices, kind of chopping up, still ranging. Dow, relatively bearish still. So I don't love the market conditions right now. This is kind of just looking like a buildup of retail buyers so far. I'm okay waiting, not being involved while we just kind of look at the rest of the market. USD CAD, again, we had this here. So this is kind of what I'm looking at with this. Either it creates support here and does this, or it breaks the low and then we get another version of this anyways. So yeah, I don't really mind just seeing this out. And since we've had some key levels of resistance over here, this is where I'd want to short, and that also gives a good risk reward as well. So USD CAD. This is what this could look like. It looks like it wants to break through here, so we'll see. It could go lower and then come back up to this zone. Either way, it looks like the short position could be like this. And then I'd want to take this into like here, basically. At the minimum. If anything, honestly, probably trade it down to here. This imbalance over here. All right, so here is USD CAD. All right, so USD CAD. And I'll just put 6C here together. So here's the futures chart. We were looking to take a position on this idea. Wanted a deeper retracement. Didn't quite get that. It just played into the imbalance and then just rallied. So it is what it is. The short out of this zone ends up playing out really nice. I don't know if anybody sold this. I didn't sell this. But I know some of you were telling me about this idea. So shout out to you guys. Hopefully maybe you took it. So the new version of this, because this now, if you look at how it's sold off, this is now already doing basically the same thing. So actually this will probably go higher. More than likely this is going to fill this, and then cool, did its thing. Maybe we get down to here later on at some other moment. So let's see what this looks like. Maybe we get something like this, and then we come back to trade up into this zone. And this is 6C longs. Okay, all right, y'all got that. Okay, so cool thing, we are getting closer for Dow to clear Asian session lows and get into this weekly open. So that'd be nice to kind of get below this. That's a clear liquidity sweep. I wonder if we're going to see NASDAQ do the same thing, because NASDAQ has been holding up more bullish, a bit more. So if NASDAQ gets below this, for example, like let's say Dow pushes all the way down to here, somewhere over here, and if we see NQ do something similar, this could take, for example, clearing these lows, then I would be interested in maybe a shakeout like this. Because now we'd be clearing quite a bit of liquidity, and the market could be setting up for reversals. So we have, here we go. Looks like Dow is starting to get below liquidity here. Trading into these zones. Nice, nice. And NASDAQ is holding up the fort pretty decent. It's kind of delayed on its clearing of lows. All right. I'll come back to that. All right, so now we're seeing, all right, Dow starting to get below this. Starting to get interesting over here. We want to see this drop further. Here we go. All right, so as of right now, Dow's getting below. Based on how this is moving, Dow would not be the one I would want to buy. It looks like NASDAQ would be the one I would want to buy. But we're not getting below these lows yet, so I'm going to wait. It's looking like, oh, the market's reversing. I don't want to miss the move. I'm patient on this. Don't want to get ahead of yourself. Don't want to just start kind of creating illusions in your mind because you just want to be in the market and you're just waiting for any excuse just to get in the market. Which TradingView bundle do we need for futures live data? I wanted to start trading, but the broker thing was overwhelming for me, so I just like watching. I'd say I wouldn't let a broker stop you from making drastic changes in your life, or just at least getting a skill set down. Just go through here. Just go here. I'll walk you through it. So go to the classroom in the Tradetopia. Go to the Traders Launchpad. And then I'll walk you through the broker's aspect of this. So you can just go through here. And then somewhere in here, I have like the broker part. Let's see, how to use the tools, how to open up a broker. Somewhere in here. So you can go ahead and watch that there. It's not that complicated. Plus, there's not a lot on the line. You can make a practice account. That way you're not, risking your money and things like that. So I wouldn't let that stop you. I should have took profit when you did, but I was only 2R for me. Only 2R is still 2R. Which TradingView data bundle do we need for futures? For me, it's like a $7 one. It's it literally says futures on there when you see it. Peso looks like it's creating another buy setup on futures. What do you think? I posted a link on school. Let's check it out. So look at this. Dow is still pushing, and Q's starting to bounce. I think we're gonna get below this. I'd be surprised if it creates all of this liquidity just to actually just leave it there. I feel like this is a really good excuse to push it lower. Okay, so 6A looks like this. So, okay, we'll do the one thing. Let me clear these. Let me just look at these majors again and then consider the futures charts. And then from there, we'll look at exotics. We'll look at gold. We'll look at crypto. So, Australian here. It's okay. Equal highs, kind of. It's pretty damn close. About a pip out. So it's This is meh. This is very much not the best. So, borderline, equal highs, potentially could consider as liquidity. Lower setup quality. So that's one thing. And then if we look at, for example, the other thing that we were looking at was Euro futures. So if we're looking at Euro here looks solid. It looks like it's kind of moving at the slowest pace. So I kind of like Euro futures best, in my opinion. So this one, I'm going to share this one. So we have that. Wait a minute. I want to see something here. What am I doing? Copy link, copy image. Ah, those are different buttons. Let's see. Okay, so we got 6E over here. 6E. And that leaves us with the image here as well. Okay, so Euro, if we're going to look to sell, Euro I think is the one I'm leaning towards the most. Definitely not GU. NZD is another one though. So NZD or Euro. So let's take a look at 6N. And then from here we can go look at some other metals. Peso, I think some you guys were asking for as well. So 6N is pretty mediocre. Like, it's not a big move or anything. Yeah, I think it's going to end up being Euro. Swing to 44,716, then buy. Swing to 44,716. Maybe. Yeah, maybe shorts look good. And not just CME data, because you do want CBOT data too. Chicago Board of Trade. You'll just see it's a $7 one. It'll say like futures on it. All right, Dow still pushing down. Cool. We'll get an eye on that in a bit. All right, let's look at peso. So let's look at some Mexican peso here. ¿Dónde están mis mexicanos? Oh, man, that's rough. Yeah, I see that. This was a good setup. Played right into here, just short. I wonder if it mitigated on CFDs. Because in reality, it was that's just a dollar. Like, the dollar was making the reversals. So this played into here. Yeah, CFDs, it was a lot cleaner. Or at least it came up a little bit higher. I wouldn't have taken this anyways. The RR wouldn't have been there for me. But not bad. If you would have been looking at... Yeah, so it's all right. It barely played out. It's like basically playing out of the open. So in my opinion, it's doesn't even give you the best RR. Now I know you're basically thinking, okay, well, can I get another trade in here? Can I get another opportunity? There's imbalances down here. So is there a chance of the market dropping lower? I think there's eventually that possibility. As of right now, for a buy here, I would want the market to really give us some decent demand. So I would want to see I would want the market to kind of keep trading over here. And then you get the play it. Or this could even go higher. So, but I get it for sure. Most definitely. Yeah, it's like this could be good. But we want this first, 6M. So, all right, here we have it. Let's add to it. Thanks, Anita, for the fire emojis. Also, if you go 30 days in a row, commenting in the chat, you get a little fire emoji next to your name on school. Yeah, it's pretty much a big deal. Okay, and then we got... All right, I like adding the images here so you guys can see the visual and you don't have to click on the link. All right, so you got that there. Gold sell idea. Let's see what you got. Paul Song. Yeah, exactly. So it's a very similar opportunity as to at least from what I'm looking at to like Euro and Australian. So definitely could see that on there. So let's go take a look at GCQ. This is gold futures. So just like the other dollar pairs, right? Market pumps up to here, clears out liquidity, and then works its way down. The sell from last week, I don't know if you guys were able to do this. It happened during London, but the short that we were looking at here ends up rejecting. So something like this could play out. I am, again, just since we have a tons of setups that are similar, I mean, you don't want to take all of them, or at least I don't want to take all of them. So I am on the lookout to see which one of all of these is going to just kind of work its way up here last, and that's the one that I would have the highest conviction with. So GCQ and option. But yeah, good setup, man. Quality play. Follow your system. Don't be a degen. So if you guys ever want to quickly just see like, oh, are there any pending ideas or just setups, charts, just go to the Tradetopia trades. Click that button. And then if you guys aren't in the community, just I'm pretty sure I pinned it. So you guys can just click that. Click that. And then from there, we'll approve you as long as you're not spamming people and selling some random shit. Because I will kick you guys. People be in here just trying to do the most. Okay, cool. Gold, done. GVP odd. I got you. CFDs. What is the idea that you have in mind? What are you looking to trade here? See a sell-off here, and then the market moves up. Okay. Let's see with another broker what that looks like. Okay, not as aggressive. Maybe a little dip down here, then the rally. Doesn't look like it's mitigated as much. I'd like to take a short. Where? Like right now? I don't really see us even getting lower lows yet. The 5 minutes still making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. It's not even broken a 5 minute structure. And then even right now when it dipped down here, when it dropped, the market doesn't even want to stay down here. It comes right back up again. I wouldn't sell anything. But again, that's just using my approach to the market. I don't know how you trade. I don't know what time frame you're looking to trade, how long you're looking to trade for. I do see imbalances, so at some point I'm sure we'll get a good drop. I'm inefficient here, so imbalance. But I don't have a confirmation to sell anything yet. Yeah. Going back to metals, I looked at the sell, right? This could turn into a buy as well. I have a buy set up way down here, though. But that'll be later on. Here we see the spike down, so maybe this turns into a buy at some point. We'll see how the market rallies. I'll follow up with you guys on this. And then silver ate up the drop. What looks like a good short would be silver. Silver pops off and then drops. Ooh, this looks good. Like this. Yeah, this could be nice. For sure. Okay. Keep an eye on this bad boy. Trade that down into here. Yeah, definitely. Okay. I like this setup. Got silver. The list continues. How's my fourth? Just chill. Just chilling. Wasn't like a big thing for me or anything like that. Just kind of hung out. All right. Save. Boom. All right, let's get an update here with indices. So Dow has been trading below, just kind of ranging. Nothing crazy. It's kind of trading in the gap between the movement. That's cool. NASDAQ working its way lower. Still hasn't cleared liquidity. That's fine. And then S&P is clearing the low and looks like it's going to push. To me, it looks like it's going to push below all of this as well. So I would imagine it clears this liquidity too and then trades down into this zone. So, okay. All right. It looks like you can see it now. Dow working its way lower, making lower lows. NASDAQ still not quite there yet. Cool. Keep waiting there. All right. So we looked at metals. We looked at majors. We have a breakdown. Yo, I have a question for you guys. Would you be interested? And I thank you guys, all of you that have liked the stream and are subscribed. And, you know, we're here Monday through Friday. But if you guys got, like, a post, so, you know, just like a recap post just right on the channel. Like, oh, here's the energy. And it's like a 3-4 minute video on all the energy setups. Or here are all the majors. Or just like maybe just one video of, like, the setups. So instead of like basically the stream, but then summarized into the key setups of the day. So let's say you missed the recording and you don't want to watch the whole fucking stream. Then you're just like, all right, cool. Oh, here Mike posted this 10-minute video of everything he went over that actually has quality setups. Let me know if that would be something you guys would be down for. Okay. Karen says that would be fire. All right. Let's see. Oil. Finally kind of breaking above here. Looks like it mitigated this drop. So oil working its way through. I really thought we were going to push below this. So I hesitated. Not even hesitated. I just disqualified buying during this range. Natural gas still bearish. Didn't mitigate this at all. Looks like this just wasn't enough demand when it came up and dropped right back down. And then, all right, now let's take a look at this, and then from here I'll wrap up. But I was talking about this with Nancy a couple days ago, around like before 4th of July. But when we were pumping above into this, like we mitigated here, we were pushing towards 110, 111. once we failed to create demand up here, I kind of had a feeling, and I was talking to her about it. I was like, all right, I think we're gonna drop back down to at least 106, and then go from there. So over the weekend, we started pumping up again, and I'm like, there just wasn't really, like, this here failed, so I don't think we're gonna continue going. And right now we're seeing that. So I do think we end up either one of two things. So I think we can get one of these where we kind of break below and then rally, but I still think we kind of push down to here, and then maybe we can push further. So something like this kind of makes sense. There's always the chance that we get down to here too. So there are options here, but the thing is, everything else is efficient though. So once we're in bullish momentum, I do think we hit all-time highs. But first we may bounce below 106. Depending on how this goes, then we either push down to under 1015. Let's see, either here or here. But everything is efficient, mitigated all over here up to the all-time highs. So this is what I got with Bitcoin. The highlights. Yes, that's the right way to say it. Apparently, I couldn't think of the word. Yeah, I make it so that you can possibly have an excuse. That's the point. All right, cool. Bitcoin. It's not even that bad, because since if I just organize myself the way I'm doing it right now, I can actually roll through this pretty easily. All right, here you go. There's Bitcoin. And then here is the image. Is this what I was looking at? Yeah. All right, cool. All right. There's Bitcoin. Sick. For sell, I wonder, is there a sell here that could happen? Ooh. Okay, sketchy sell. Sketchy. I'm going to go and put this under the sketchy category. Liquidity here, not my favorite. Probably get some dog entries under 4 again. There's a lot of liquidity building up here, so anything under 4 for me, I'm down for the cause. Honestly, anything under like 4.3. But yeah, we maybe see a little spike down into here. But that brings me to, let's see, ETH here. ETH working its way down. It seems like ETH is going to want to push towards 2450, 2400. This is a nice play here. So we saw a nice spike down on ETH over here. But remember, when you're looking at buying alts, you just want to be mindful of like what Bitcoin's doing. So they have similar setups, ETH and Bitcoin. It's just a matter of like which one's going to work its way there first or last. So right now, for example, if you take a look at ETH is sitting around 38.2 pullback. If you look at Bitcoin's retracing a bit faster. So there's a better chance for ETH to give us the buy setup than for Bitcoin at the moment. This could change. These things can always change. So here's ETH perspective. I can go ahead and kind of delete some of these things that are no longer necessary. All right, so here's ETH USD. That's not what I wanted to see here. Organize this a little bit. Crypto. And then we got metals. All right. Currencies. Exotics. Okay. All right. And then we got, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Indices, where you at, dude? Nothing. Okay. And then last thing would be like Sol. Sol's ranging a lot. Not really breaking under, lower. It's kind of meh. So, yeah. All right. Not much to do there. That sums up quite a bit. Right now, basically what I'm waiting for would be something like this with indices. Still looking for possible buys. The short, in my opinion, still is valid on Dow, so still a possibility to sell over here. And then there's the possibility to buy over here with NQ. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit here and give this perspective. And then I think at some point it'd be either this goes lower and then maybe something like this to sell over here. All right, so update, refresh on indices here. Oh, that's definitely not the right button. Okay. This is the old one. Goodbye. All right, guys. Here you go. If you want access to all these ideas, then you can get them here. So make sure you are plugged in. And guys, I mean, yeah, thank you all for being here with us for the last, like 90 minutes or so. So they're all set up there. Everything is saved, I believe. Let's see, make sure that I can pin this as well. I'll unpin this. Boom. And then we got to pin this bad boy. You have no excuses. Have tons of things to follow up with. Don't get overwhelmed. Follow what you can. I appreciate all of you that have given love to the collection. Some of you are already getting your t-shirts. Hats should be shipping out today. And if you haven't checked out the site, it's all here, the new collection. You can check it out there. The hat, the tee, the back of it. I think this is what, obviously, it makes it look so sick. Fits good. This is a really high quality material. Every trade is a step toward building a brighter future for ourselves and the world, the trade for freedom. So get yours while you can. And then if you want to join us on the retreat in Colombia, pull up. These are obviously there's limits to how many people we can have. So sweet. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for the love always. If you enjoyed the session, if you got value, if you made some money, whether it's today or in the past, then feel free to support. And I'll see you guys. We'll be back here again tomorrow, Monday through Friday. Friday, Nance and I will be heading out to Italy. We'll give you guys updates on what next week will look like for the stream and for this session. But our visors in the future. Visors haven't gotten that far, but we do have dad hats that are in the future and a few other collections already in the works. So hopefully you guys enjoy what's coming next. And then also let us know in the community or here in the chat what you'd want to see, whether it's mugs, frames, posters, just more. We have more on the merch side of things, like the apparel, higher quality apparel, streetwear, and things like that. Lots of us girls don't wear hats. Hey, it's not just me doing the thinking and consideration. We got a team here, so we're thinking for everybody. But yeah, if expect some really cool stuff, and then visors, we'll see what we can do there. All right, guys, take care. Catch you on the next one.